everybody, and welcome to the Week 8 Newborn Vlog. Taylor here is 2 months old, well, almost 2 months. 8 weeks. He had his 2-month checkup doctor's appointment on Thursday. So we've got all the latest stats for you. I'm sure you're dying to know. So he weighed 11 pounds, 15 and a half ounces. So half an ounce away from 12 pounds. Pretty crazy. That is the 54th percentile. He is 22 and a half inches long, and that is the 39th percentile. And his head circumference was 39.75 centimeters, which is the 80th percentile.
Yeah, we have a family history of big heads.
Yeah, Emily and Zoe both had big heads, so not too surprising. We had a good doctor's appointment. Everything seemed to check out normal. So the only thing we're a little worried about is his ears. I want to say worried, but they're very pointy and they didn't get flattened like usual in the womb. So they've referred us to an ear specialist, and basically it sounds like they can put like a little silicone mold to keep it open and kind of tape it back to the back of his head. I'm not sure how long. But it's very simple and non-invasive, and then it fixes it. So later in life, if he ever wants to have it changed and we don't do this procedure, then he'll have to have surgery. He's been cooing a lot more, and it sounds like he's going to do it right now, so we might stop and just do a baby shot right now. But he really started it, I don't know, 3-4 days ago. I mean, he did it a little bit before that, randomly. But 3 or 4 days ago, he really started. There will be periods where you can just tell he wants to talk, and then he starts doing it. And if you talk to him, he keeps doing it, and it's pretty cool. It goes on for maybe half hour or something, and then he gets done. He likes to make the little owl sounds, woo, woo.
And kind of like kitty sounds, too.
Kitty sounds. He watches your mouth, so you can tell he's trying to figure out. You can tell he doesn't know what to do with his mouth sometimes, and he's almost like choking or coughing, but trying to talk. I don't know. It's weird. He's trying to control his mouth, but he's not exactly sure what he's doing. So I think maybe we should do a baby shot right now. All right, here's baby Taylor. You want to talk? You want to suck on your fist? He does suck on his fist quite a bit. Want to talk to us? Yeah, there you go. Is that what you wanted to say? You tell him how you've been feeling the last week? Oh, you're getting a little angry.
Yeah, sometimes he gets frustrated when he wants to talk.
Yeah. Can you do the owl? Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh. Big yawn.
Ooh, ooh. Ooh. Say hi.
Yeah.
Say hi.
There you go. Good job.
Are you saying diaper change?
Possibly. He just had a bath, so he usually wears them out and he wants to go to sleep, but he was in a good mood, so we thought we'd do the video now. You signed diaper change? You need a diaper change? You signed, oh, that's kind of it, yeah. You signed diaper change? Yeah. That's what you want?
Okay, we'll change your diaper.
Alright, so we are back. He's got a diaper change, he got fed, and now he's falling asleep. So we will pick it back up. So last week, as you know, if you watched our last video, we were all sick, and Emily and Zoe had just gotten over it. We were just starting our antibiotics, and we got over it pretty fast within a couple days of the actual just sickness of feeling bad.
Infection.
But we've still got this cough that's kind of came along with it. And Taylor had a really stuffy nose and was sick as well. No fever or anything. Didn't have to take him to the doctor, but he was pretty much waking himself up all the time. And it was on Monday that he was like overly tired. He didn't really get to sleep that day. You know, we didn't go anywhere to where he was going to sleep in the car. And just every time we'd rock him, we'd get him to sleep. But like
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 to 15 minutes later, he'd kind of do that or something and wake himself up. You know, we just did that all day. We just rock him. Okay, now he's finally going to go to sleep.
Yeah, I spent like hours trying to get him to bed. And
not all at once. We would rock him, he'd go to sleep, we'd set him down, we'd go do something, and then, he's awake again.
Yeah.
So it just made for a long day, and I mean, we weren't really doing anything, but towards the end of the night, I just realized he doesn't know what to do with his hands was the problem. He just, every time he'd wake up, he'd start flailing his hands around. So even if normally he wakes up and he kind of would do the sniffles and then go back to sleep, he'd start like smacking himself or just like didn't know where to position his hands. So I thought, you know, it was late at night, it was like 3 in the morning or something, and I was like, okay, I'm going to swaddle him. That's what I'm going to do. Like, that way he doesn't have to worry about his hands. And it was kind of funny because in our last video, or maybe it was the video before that.
It was the last video.
We talked about how we got swaddle blankets from someone, and he doesn't like swaddling because we haven't done it since we came home from the hospital.
Yeah.
So I decided to try it, of course. Maybe it's because we talked about it and I was thinking about it, and I just got him in the tightest double swaddle I could.
Yeah.
And then we fed him. And then we just stuck him in the bed, and we're like, there's nothing else we can do for you. If you're going to cry for a half an hour, you're just going to cry for a half an hour.
Yeah, because we had done everything possible to make him happy.
Yeah. So, lo and behold, he slept for 6 hours that night swaddled. I heard him wake up probably half an hour after he'd gotten to sleep. He only cried for like 10 minutes or something, under 10.
Yeah.
I think it was more like 5 because he was so tired that he didn't really have any energy. 6 hours, worked wonders. We did it the next night too, similar thing. I don't think he slept 6 hours, but he slept a good chunk. He's over the sickness now. He's got a little stuffy nose.
Yeah.
Not too bad. He doesn't wake himself up now when he's sleeping, so he's back to the usual kind of 4 hours of sleeping at a time when it's good sleep. So it's funny because you would think after 2 months of not being swaddled, and he generally hates it. We've tried it a couple times, and he just seems mad that he can't get his arms out. But I think he was tired enough, and then it just let him, when he woke up, he wouldn't just start smacking himself and waking himself up. So that was good. So Hilda's still breastfeeding. That's going good. We still pump bottles once in a while. Now that we're over the sickness, she seems to got her milk back. The milk supply is back to normal. For a while there wasn't enough to go around. So generally, you want to talk about breastfeeding a little bit?
Yeah, I'd say generally he eats like every 2 to 6 hours. And when we went to the doctor's visit, the doctor couldn't believe how much weight he'd gained. So she basically said in the next 2 weeks, we'll be kind of graduating to the point where he can go all night without eating. And she said it might end up that he sleeps for like 8 or 9 hours in our dream state. But yeah, that'll be the goal, is to kind of transition these next few weeks where he's sleeping all night. She said ideally put him down at like 9 p.m., have him wake up at 6 and feed him then. She said the nighttime feedings can go away shortly.
He does that pretty good. He'll sleep at least 4 hours, you know, when we're all fine.
Yeah.
He was sleeping 4 to 5 hours in the middle of the night, and then he would wake up and want milk. And so that's just, she's saying, kind of getting extended. That would really be ideal for work. It's just getting his hours of sleep down. So generally he'll be sleeping now, like
when
8,
we're not
like 8 o'clock till like 11 or so, and then he kind of wakes up and does a couple hours of activity and feeding and diaper changes, and then goes back to sleep. So if we could kind of combine the 2 sleepings that he's doing into one, and then move it a little bit later to where we're ready to go to bed, that would be ideal. Sad to say, this is my final week off. I am going back to work on Monday. Paternity leave is over. I'm just sad about it. The past 2 months have been awesome and hard to give up, but, got to go back sometime. So the most thing we're worried about is the sleep and how she's going to do it all on her own.
Yeah.
I mean, generally the routine has been we kind of tag team it at night, so when one of us gets frustrated, we just hand Taylor off, and we kind of take turns getting him to sleep. And then I will generally wake up with the girls at 7 in the morning, make breakfast, get them off to school.
And I usually wake up at 8.
Yeah, she'll wake up at 8 and eat breakfast and feed Taylor. And then I get them on the school bus 8:30, and then I come in, do the dishes usually, do the laundry, kind of pick up the house for maybe an hour.
Yeah, clean the living room.
And then around 9:30 is when we're heading back to bed with Taylor, and then we sleep. Just depends. If we had a good night, then we'll sleep till like noon or maybe 1. If we're up pretty late, then we'll sleep till like 2:30 and then get up and go pick up the girls. It'll just be very different, and especially like picking up girls, usually Hilda will wait in the car and I go get the girls when they get out of school, so that's going to be harder on her. Yeah,
I'd sit in the car with Taylor and Mike would run out and get the girls. And especially with the weather changing too, like I feel like with the rain and, it's a lot easier if I could just sit in the car with the baby and then Mike runs out.
Yeah. And I honestly don't think I'm ever going to get this much time off again, so it's bittersweet. I know I need to go back and all that, but I really liked staying at home and just doing all the dad things all day, so.
I know. I think it's going to be a really hard transition because, like Mike was saying, he takes care of all the house things for me, and I don't know, I think, Taylor is such a full-time job, I just feel like, I need to start my routine kind of like what Michael does, wake up at 7, get the girls off to school, take care of Taylor, but then at the same time, I need to take care of the dishes and the laundry and all these things and stay on top of it, because the thing Michael does is every day he just works really hard to get it done, and then it doesn't pile up, and I think in the past, even when I was pregnant, like, I would kind of let things pile up, and then that is when it gets extra difficult, because you're, like, drowning in laundry, drowning in dishes, like, meal prep was always a struggle for me, and I think seeing Mike do it for the last 9 weeks really has been an eye-opener of a better way to do things, like, if I can hopefully follow, his model of doing things, it's not so overwhelming. And I think being a mother, a lot of times, everything feels overwhelming because you're like, oh, I have all these jobs to do and there's not enough time. But if you can stay on top of all the jobs, it's a lot less overwhelming, hopefully. And
yeah, I mean, I've tried to make Emily and Zoe self-sufficient in the mornings. I like to make breakfast, but that means I can't micromanage them, like getting their showers done and blow drying their hair and all the little things. So, I mean, generally at night we've gotten our clothes ready, the shoes ready,
underwear, socks ready.
Yeah, everything that's in our room, because there are socks and underwear in our room, out. So that in the morning they just know. Like, I just wake up Zoe, she takes a shower first, and then I come down here and start making breakfast. They do it themselves. They take their showers, then they get dressed, and
Emily runs out and grabs the eggs from the barn and
right, but then the whole blow drying the hair and like getting the backpack ready, like that's just expected. I will give them little warnings of like, we got 10 minutes, make sure everyone's ready to go. But I'm not really doing anything besides making breakfast. Speaking of the girls, here they come to swoop in and check out Taylor.
Every time Zoe sees Taylor, she has to give him a kiss. So girls, what do you have to say about having a 2-month-old brother?
He cries a lot.
Yeah.
He cries a lot?
He always goes to the bathroom.
He always goes to the bathroom?
That's true. Can't argue with that.
What do you like the most about having a brother?
He likes dancing, and he likes being a Batman. Wait, Superman, Batman.
So what does he do, Zoe?
He's also starting to, like,
talk.
He's not starting to, like, actually talk, but he'll, like,
he's saying,
he's like, "Ahoo," or, like, trying to say stuff.
The baby talk.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the thing about the crying, too, and that most people say when they're over here and they see Taylor is, he's not crying all the time, but he cries and lets you know what he needs. So if he's got a dirty diaper, he's crying about it, and he's going to let you know. If he needs milk, he's crying about it, he's going to let you know. The times we get most confused are when he's tired and he's crying, and we're trying to feed him or change his diaper, but he doesn't really want that. The other cry that confuses us the most is when he needs to go poop. So oftentimes that cry will just kind of go on, and we're not sure why.
But Emily seems to be able to recognize that cry.
Yeah, I know that position he really liked. He liked his 2 feet kind of like this. I don't think you can see, but he kind of liked it like his feet went like this. He also. And that he liked that position. He'd stop crying, and he would push, and I'd have him in that position. And then I fell in.
Yeah, you can tell he's pushing sometimes, and that's the giveaway. But if he's not, or you're not paying attention to it, it can seem like we're doing everything you want. We're trying to feed you, but he's crying.
Yeah,
we're trying to put him to bed, and he's crying because we'll often think it's just that he's tired. And then, it can sometimes take hours, or sometimes it'll be within like 15 minutes. You hear that he went poop, and he gets a lot happier. All right, girls are off to play Barbies. They kind of woke Taylor up, but we'll see if we can get him back to sleep. So the final thing we wanted to talk about was on Friday, we went and had the girls' annual appointments in Seattle. So we were in Seattle both Thursday and Friday, and we met up with my brother, kind of by weird circumstances. So.
It's kind of a funny story because I mentioned Mike to text Brett, and then we didn't hear back. So I drove to a thrift store that I wanted to go buy Taylor's Halloween outfit, and so we went shopping at the thrift store, and then we left there. And as I was leaving, I thought I was turning left at a light, and it turned out I was turning left into a grocery store. And then when I was driving in front of the grocery store, it just so happened that Brett and Brooke were crossing right in front of my car. So Mike rolls down the window and was like, weird. Brett! Like he yells out at him, and Brett's kind of like, who is yelling at me? And so he walks up and he's like, oh, you guys want to go out to eat? And so then we met him at the Elliott Bay Brewery. It's a really nice place to eat, and you wouldn't believe it, but Taylor, we fed him and we changed his diaper right before, and for the 2 hours we were in the restaurant, he was the best little baby, and he had all these people walk by and like ooh and ah over him, and
he was awake the whole time. He wasn't sleeping. He was looking up. Yeah, pretty loud in there, so I think that kept him occupied. It was also kind of dim lighting, so he could have his eyes open and not think it was too bright. But he was just having the time of his life. He was in the stroller most of the time. Everyone that walked by, because we were kind of like right by the door in the waiting serving area, just like couldn't help but like look and comment on it about him. And
I think everybody could tell he was a new baby, and everybody kind of oohs and ahs over newborns. So I think they're like, oh, and a lot of people had toddlers, so they were showing the toddlers, the little newborn baby.
Yeah, exactly.
It was cute. Right.
Just seemed like for some reason that day, like everything had worked out.
The stars were aligned.
Perfect, so that we just happened upon my brother. Like if we had just spent 1 minute here or there doing anything else, or were faster by a minute, or made the right turn, we wouldn't have run into him. So that was pretty cool. Yeah,
so everything that happened just kind of happened in such a way that we, got to see each other, which was really special because it was Taylor's 8-week birthday, and he hadn't met his Uncle Brett yet.
Yeah, so he finally met Uncle Brett and Auntie Brooke, and had a grand time at the restaurant. It was a cool way to end the day. Another funny anecdote to that day was it was a big faux pas that we left the diaper bag at our house.
Oh, yeah.
So we...
Out of all the things you could leave at home.
Yeah, and this was the first time. So the diaper bag and stroller are always in our trunk, but we were running low on supplies the day before when we had taken him to his checkup. So Hilda brought in the diaper bag, restocked it, kind of changed some things. And
everything was perfect in the diaper bag.
But we were rushing to pick up the girls on Friday from school. We were running a bit late. And we just did not even see it. It was literally sitting right next to the car seat that Taylor was in.
Yeah.
So we should have seen it. So we were at a store, and Hilda was feeding, and then he had pooped, and it was like, all right, you need to change the diaper.
I told Mike, like, oh, go get the diaper bag.
So, like, I popped the trunk, me and Zoe are all ready to change a diaper, and, like, my heart just sank. I'm like, we don't have the diaper bag, and, like...
Yeah, and we weren't anywhere where we could buy diapers either.
And we were kind of running late to get to the appointment. We had extra time, that's why we made a stop, and then we didn't have extra time. We had to make a stop at Target, buy diapers and wipes and all that, and made it all better. So it was just another... funny thing, and it just made us realize if we ever restock the diaper bag, it needs to go directly back in the trunk again. Just in case you're rushing the next day and you don't think about it. But
I even thought, in addition to the diaper bag, maybe just have like an emergency bag, you know, and have a couple change of clothes, diapers, wipes, you know, anything that you might need, you know, like a burp cloth or something, because you never know what life's going to throw. Maybe extra little blanket.
Yeah.
You know, just one of everything, so you don't get in that situation where you're in Seattle and the baby poops.
Yeah.
And you have nothing to clean it up with. Because it's pretty terrible. Oh, I guess the one last thing I want to mention for this video is that he is trying to outgrow the newborn size clothes. So we're trying to put him in as many newborn outfits as possible, but he's really transitioning to the 0 to 3 month size.
The newborns still fit, but some of them are getting particularly tight. 0 to 3 definitely fit better. So it's tempting when we pick out his clothes to do the 0 to 3, but we really want to make sure he's wearing the newborns as much as he possibly can. All right, so that's about it. We're going to wrap it up here. Taylor went back to sleep, and I got to get ready for work on Monday, so... If you missed any of our videos, any of these newborn vlogs, click above Hilda's head there. I will put a playlist. All right, and I guess that's going to wrap it up. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one. Bye. Bye.